Just arrived here at Mono Lake. Planning on doing a little bit of night photography tonight, and it's just such a crazy, otherworldly place here. I mean, there's all these cool formations on the edge of the water. I don't really know what they are. I definitely need to do a bit more research on this whole area, but the water, when you feel it, it almost feels slimy, I think, because it's super salty. But regardless of the geology, as a photographer, it's great because it's super dark skies, you know, there's nothing around here, and the formations, whatever they are, provide a super cool foreground for night photos. So that's the plan for at least tonight and maybe tomorrow night as well. First though, gotta cook some dinner. Alright, so my plan for tonight is to take a photo of the stars and try to use one of those cool looking sand salt formation things around the lake as a nice foreground. And I'm going to be using my star tracker to shoot the star portion of this photo. And basically what that's going to allow me to do is just let in a bunch more light, which in turn you'll basically be able to see a ton of detail in the night sky that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see if I weren't using the tracker. And I've made a much more in-depth video on how the tracker works and everything, so if you want to watch that, I'll put a link to it in the description. The only downside to using the tracker is that because it's moving slightly while you're taking the photo, it blurs any foreground that might be in the shot. So I've got to take that foreground shot of the formations separately, which I'll probably actually do when it's starting to get a little bit light out, just so I can reduce the ISO a little bit and make it look just a tiny bit cleaner. But for now, just gonna set up the tracker and get going with the star portion of the shot. Alright, so I've got the camera set up here on top of the tracker. Tracker is set at 38 degrees latitude, which is where we are right now, lined up with Polaris. And so I've got the zoom lens on, set at 200 millimeters. And I'm going to try to shoot the Pleiades region, which is just kind of a very bright, cool looking star cluster. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is that depending on how this is all oriented here, sometimes because the camera's so heavy with the zoom lens, it can kind of mess up the tracker and it just doesn't really work out. But settings are 2-minute exposures, ISO 1600 and f4. Take a test shot now, see if it works or not. Oh wow, actually didn't streak at all. That is a very pleasant surprise. I think I'll actually be able to use that one. Didn't expect that. I swear I just heard a meow coming from the bushes. That is terrifying. Well, I think whatever that was, it's hopefully gone by now. Just went outside and didn't hear anything else. It's about 10:45 now, and obviously shot the photo of Pleiades, and I think I'm gonna wait about an hour and a half until Orion comes up over the horizon, and then I'm gonna use the 50 millimeters still on the star tracker and shoot Orion. Just a very nice looking constellation, and is especially cool when you can do a super long exposure on it, so I'll just use that as basically another option for what to use as my sky part of the full image. So I'm just gonna hang out for a bit now, maybe do some reading, and then go out and shoot that and hopefully not get eaten by any cats. got the 50mm all set up now, ready to shoot Orion. Settings are f2.8, ISO 1600, and 2-minute exposures. It's just so pretty what you can see with the tracker. Here's one of the raw shots of Orion. Just all the colors and the glow of the stars. It's so cool. So I think that'll pretty much just about do it for all the star photos, and just gonna try to get a little bit of rest now and then wake up probably about an hour and a half before sunrise, just as it's starting to get a bit light, to go over to the cool little rock formations and grab that foreground shot. Just driving back down the road now to just one of the areas that I was exploring yesterday. It looked kind of cool, and it's just starting to get a little bit light out over there on the eastern horizon. Hopefully I can get a decent foreground shot here. Just a quick hike out from the car here, and I made it into this little area with all these super cool looking, like, I don't even know how you would describe them, but they make for pretty awesome foreground for a night shot. So I'm just gonna kind of look around here, see what works and what doesn't, and then get out the camera and take a shot. So I think I'm kind of liking this one right here. I like how there's sort of a break in the middle of it, and there's just all these little gaps in between the kind of pillars. Just looks very cool. So shooting with the wide angle lens, going at 15 seconds, ISO 100 and f4, so I can really bring down the noise because it's starting to get a bit light out here. It's just going to make for a really clean shot. Only thing special I'm doing here is focusing one on kind of the main stack here, and then another just kind of more on this foreground area, so that I can get everything in focus, and I'll blend those two together. Just so you got a nice focus, clean frame all the way from what's right in front of the camera up to the stars. Now I think I'm going to look for a foreground for the Pleiades shot that I did with the zoom lens. Probably not going to use a wide angle on this foreground just because it is such a zoomed in shot of the stars, so I kind of want to mimic that at least a little bit when I'm shooting the foreground. So maybe a little bit, something a little bit kind of more intricate and detailed, and I don't know, just look around and see what I can find. I kind of like this one right here, how there's this hole in the rock. I could just basically have Pleiades right in there, and then also like the whole base here and everything. Very cool looking. Don't think I'm quite as much a fan of the way that second one was turning out. Just didn't really have as much depth as the first shot, but that's alright. It still looks kind of cool. So just got to get to editing now, and however these two shots turned out with stars and everything, here they are. I think that'll just about do it for this episode here at Mono Lake. So thank you guys for watching. Next up, just gonna be driving over into Yosemite again, and last time I was there I backpacked through kind of the lesser known areas. This time I think I'm just gonna go to the valley and really see all the iconic places. So stay tuned for more, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.